So much of yoga is about moving the spine, and in this chair sequence, I wanted to go over some of the ways that we do that in yoga. In many poses, the arms and the legs are almost window dressing. It's really a lot about moving the spine, and even sometimes when we're moving the arms and the legs, it's really about how that might affect the spine. So you will need a chair for this sequence. Any old dining chair should do. You just want a flat seat and something with no arms. I am using a yoga chair, and you can get these online if you want one, but you really don't need one. A dining chair should do fine. So to start off with, I just wanted to go over just starting to work the lower spine. And with a lot of these things, it might be difficult to feel at first if you're not used to doing yoga. And as we get older, our spines tend to get a little bit more solidified. But that's another reason to just do these things. You really start to help to loosen up the muscles and to loosen up the whole spine. So the first thing we're going to do here is just sitting at the front of your chair. I'm sitting to this side so you can see me better. And a nice sitting posture, and we'll be doing sitting postures in many things in yoga. You want to sit away from the back of the chair, and you want to sit up so that you have a nice arch in your lumbar spine. You don't want to be rounding down on the back here because that puts pressure on the disc in the lumbar spine. So sitting up nice and tall, that nice arch in your lumbar spine enables you also to bring your shoulders back and down. And just to start off with it, just close your eyes here. And just notice your breath. Start to bring your attention to your breathing. And just see if you can just visualize your spine from the tailbone all the way up into your neck. Just be conscious of your spine. And as you're sitting here, see if you can make your spine as tall as you can. So almost there's like there's an imaginary string pulling up from the back of your head. And so many of us, when we do that, a lot of people have a tendency to pull their chin up when I talk about making the neck long, but you really want the back of the neck long. So almost imagine that somebody's just pulling up just right on the base of the skull here, the occiput. And you want the back of the neck to be really long, and that'll make the spine as straight and as long as it can be. The chin will be slightly tucked in. So go ahead and open your eyes here. And we're just going to start tilting the pelvis back and forth, which is going to mobilize just the lower back, the lower spine. So on an inhale, if you tilt the pelvis forward, and it might help to put your fingertips or fingers on your hip crest here. Just see if you can find that bony part at the top of your hip. And we're really looking to just move that back and forth. So as you tilt forward, you'll be coming up onto your sits bones, and you can feel your sits bones by they're right in the center of the butt. So you want to be coming up onto your sits bones and even forward a little bit, and you'll feel the hip crest tilting forward. And then tilt back so that you're rounding your lower back and coming more onto your tailbone. So just keep doing that. Just trying to mobilize your lower back, trying not to move too much else at this point. So inhaling as you tilt forward, exhale as you tilt back. So inhaling, arching your lower back, exhaling, rounding. And see if you can start bringing that movement a little bit higher in your spine. So start bringing it up, and maybe just release your hands there, putting them on your knees or your thighs. So start mobilizing the mid back and the upper back. So inhaling, arching, exhaling, rounding. You still want to start the movement with the tilt of your pelvis. So rolling forward onto the sits bones, rolling back onto the tailbone. And bringing it all the way up into your upper back. Your shoulders will be coming forward on the rounding part of this and back on the arching part. Big breath, inhale and exhale. And then all the way up into the neck. Try not to scrunch your neck back too far when we're doing the arching part of this, but just letting the head fall back just a little bit. So this is called cat-cow, and we often do cat-cow on hands and knees on the ground, but it's also a great thing to do in chair yoga. So the arching part is obviously the cow part of the pose, and the cat is the rounding. And when you're doing the rounding part, really try to extend your back out. And when you first start doing this, it's probably not going to be a lot of movement, but just it's as much of an intention as anything, just trying to get the spine moving. So just a couple more of these, and again, just see if you can visualize your whole spine as you're doing this movement. And come back to center, sitting nice and tall. So the next thing we're going to do is a twist. And when we twist our torso, we're really mostly twisting from the mid-back up. The way the vertebrae are designed in the lower back, they just don't twist very much. So we're really looking to create movement from your sort of upper belly up into your upper back. So for this one, we're gonna bring our arms up into cactus arms, so just straight up. And try, if you can, to bring your arms relatively back, so that'll be creating a little bit of an arch in your upper back, or not rounding so much in the upper back. So inhale as you turn towards the left, and exhale as you turn towards the right. And see if you can keep your legs relatively static. They're going to be moving a little bit, but you don't want to be doing a major movement with the legs back and forth. See if you can just keep this movement from the waist up. And really a lot of it's going to be from the mid-back up. And just do it nice and slow. Whatever pace you're going at is fine. Inhaling towards the left and exhaling towards the right. As you're doing this, if you can, again, just really imagine that there's that string pulling your spine up, so you're getting as tall as you can. And again, seeing if you can make sure that your hands, your arms, your elbows are coming back, so that you're opening up the chest a little bit. So go ahead and come back to center, release that. Just sit and close your eyes for a second. Just notice where your breath is at and how you're feeling now. So next we're going to be doing stretching out the sides, which will be tilting the spine back and forth to the side. So this is a version of Trikonasana, which means triangle pose, but we're just going to be doing a moving version of this. Again, just really waking up the spine. So to start off with, bring your right hand up over your head and stretch over towards that left side. And then back down. So inhale, bring your left hand up. You might want to grab onto the chair and exhale down. As you're doing this, see if you can really anchor the hip on the side that you're moving from. So as you bring your left hand up, really anchor that left hip down, which you'll feel more of the stretch through the side body here. So inhale upright and exhale. And as we do this sort of side stretch, it really helps us to open up the ribs and through the chest area. And that in turn helps us to breathe more deeply, because when these muscles through the ribs get really tight, it just restricts our ability to expand our chest out as we breathe in. So there's not as much room for the lungs to move. So after you bring your left arm up next, just go ahead and come back to center. And the last thing I'm going to do here is really just trying to work on opening up the chest and shoulders. And really what we're doing here is trying to counteract the sort of the natural hunch that we have in the upper back. The spine is in a nice S curve, and the upper back is naturally hunched over. But so many of us sitting at our computers or just day-to-day life, that hunch gets a little bit greater than it should be. So a lot of yoga is really about, trying to create good posture. And for almost all of us, we really need to work on counteracting the natural hunch there. So for this, I'm going to turn back to the side just so you can see me better. And the first thing we're going to do is just a little bit of a back bend here. So if you can grab onto either the side of the chair or the back of the chair. So it's fairly easy to create an arch in your lower back, but see if you can really try to bring your shoulders back and your chest up so you're feeling a bit of a stretch in your upper back. So it's counteracting that arch. And just breathe deeply into this. So in this, you'll feel your shoulder blades coming in towards your back as your chest comes up. And again, this might take a while to really feel this. A lot of these things are sort of subtle, and if you're not used to doing these things in your body, it might be a little bit harder to get the feeling. But try to bring your shoulders back. Try to feel your chest stretching up. And so your chest is floating up. Shoulders are coming down away from the ears. You go ahead and release that. Just to counteract that back bend, we're going to go ahead and fold forward to make sure that we're not leaving any pressure in our lower back or tension in our lower back. So just fold forward between your legs, bring your knees apart. So if you're just touching the floor, that's fine. The main thing we really want to do here is just make sure that we're allowing our lower back to relax after doing the back bend. So breathing, maybe rocking from side to side. And then back up. So just to finish up here, I just want to talk about the movement in the spine in yoga. I'll be taking you through some seated half sun salutes and other types of movement in the chair yoga that I'm teaching. And so often in yoga, when we move the spine in one direction, then we move in the other. So with the half sun salute, the movement involves coming up, bringing your arms up into sort of a back bend, and then we go into a forward bend, and then, do various things like a cat-cow. And all of this is first arching the back and then rounding the back. So it's spinal extension and flexion. So all of this is really working on mobilizing the spine. But in this first lesson, I just wanted to start to go over those concepts and start to get you thinking about what it feels like to move the spine around. And we will be moving a lot more in subsequent lessons. So yeah, there it is. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.